G'day my friends, Marty, we're here from Marty's garden. Now we've got the chickens here, we're inside the coop. This is the long part where we're doing the composting. This one's jumping up and trying to bite my buttons. You can hear a couple nesting as well, going wah, wah, laying some eggs, and we just gave them a feed. Now how's the chicken composting coming along? Well, I'd have to say, you watch, she's going to come and eat one of my buttons. Look, come on. I can't get that on film. Anyway, there's a few things that have sort of happened that have created a couple of little problems that I wanted to share with you. As this girl here keeps jumping up, red one, she does it even to Shirley. Jumps up and bites things on you, or pecks things on you. Anyway, we're going to show you some of the compost and talk about what's going on in here as I get distracted by these chickens trying to film at the same time. And you hear that one, whack, 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 whack. She's laying an egg at the moment as we speak. So I've still got a bit of a flu, just getting over it. Didn't cough so much last night. I don't know why they try and bite my shirt or peck at my shirt. It's quite bizarre. Stop it. And anyway, let's get some composting to show you. Firstly, how she looks. So I'm going to dig a spot here. I'll bring it over for you to look at. Now look how nice and dark and rich that is. Now I did have to add extra chicken manure at the start to get the process going. Still just that tiny little bit woody material, but when it's like this, now that is perfect for a potting mix. Right that like that. If I want to compost it on further, I can, but that is pretty much ready to go. I could put that on any garden. It's got good blocky structure, doesn't have any smell, and the chickens have been turning it over and laying into it. Now I got the sort of like thinnest woody material from the trees that are harvested locally around here, from the council actually. Go through and clean up the trees. You can get it from them and mix the chicken manure in there, and boom, we've got a material like this. Wish I could actually give you a smell-o-vision and you could have a really good look at it. Now I'd almost think that it had like a sand through it to make it grainy and good drainage. Now I don't like buying soils with sand in it. I reckon it's a stupid idea to do unless you got so much clay in your soil that you need to sort of break it down a bit and separate it a bit with some sand. But this stuff, I reckon pretty much I'd be able to grow straight into that like that as is, but that would be a bit of a waste. So I would mix that with a clay soil or a sandy loam or a sandy soil at around about 50-50. Then I put another layer on top of the garden bed, and also then mulch on top of that again and create this beautiful layer of humus compost. Isn't that just absolutely awesome stuff? All right, let's give you a look at the coop as well now, and I'll show you what I'm doing and some of the problems that I've had. It's not really big problems, but just some tiny ones that I wanted to share in case anyone's following along, and how we can resurrect them. And she's still trying to bite my buttons on my shirt, something to do with the white things. Anyway, let's put this back. And have a bit more of a talk about the coop here. So as I've been building this chicken run, which is the area where I do the composting, we've used tomato stakes and then bird netting right around it 2 laps twice. Now what's happened is I did age the bales a bit. We sat them in there for a while, just sort of flat, let them run around on them and things. And I decided to flip them on their sides because they're always pushing the compost when they're flicking it with their feet and turning it over onto the net. And then that was expanding the net out and pushing the net away from the barriers where it's supposed to be, because the net's sort of flexible, right? And I thought, hey, I can get around that. I'll flip the bales over to the side, and then what I'll do is every time they're kicking it up, it'll just hit the bales or onto the bales and help cure the bales a bit, and it'll stop all the compost and everything from going onto the net and stretching the net. Well, so what's happened? It's worked pretty well at first, and for quite some time, because it's been a few weeks now since I started that. And What's happened is though, we had a whole lot of rain, the bales got really wet and then they shrunk. And that's a really good thing because I want them breaking down, and we're going to be using them in the garden, using them for making compost, using them in the worm farms, all that stuff, and also throwing it around in the chicken coop as a mulch, as a barrier to keep it nice and healthy. Now, so that's serving the purpose, but as they've shrunk, the chickens are then jumping into the side of the bale and then moving up along the side of the fence and then sort of stretching it out a bit more and scratching around in there. And I don't mind too much, but there's a couple of spots where I've had to fill up some holes so they don't stretch it out too much. One spot especially. So that's one of the things that's happened. So really I've figured out, well, I've got to replace those bales more often, or I've got to get some type of new rail along the outside. Maybe we'll use some colour bond or some type of tin or something like that, and do it that way and put the tin on the inside of the coop, so when they're smashing it up it just sort of hits the tin and goes back down. But then we don't have the actual thing going on of the whole composting process, so it's not a big problem. So I'm interested to hear what you think about that. I can still hear him just right behind me right here. Keep thinking she's right next to me, which sort of she is in a way. They complain when they don't get that seed, the scratch seed, and they only get the chicken pellets, which are the best ones for them for laying eggs. We get more eggs, higher protein, better quality food, you know, and we let them out through the day as well. All the fencing area got knocked down in the big storm, so I've got to let them out and then watch them so they don't devastate the garden until we build out some bigger runs yet again. As I said, unfortunately the storm, yeah. Now, chickens in cost of living, I think it's something that I need to bring up in a future video for sure, no doubt about that. Very important. We've got 8 here. Let me know if you'd like to see that in a video. Pretty sure I'm going to do that. Also, Shirley and I are going to be harvesting more of the sweet potatoes, and then we're going to be getting the material, the green leaves, and we're going to be cutting them up and drying them out as chicken food. We're going to be harvesting, and I'm slowly rebuilding the whole compost area. So if you'd like to see that as well, let me know in the comments box down below. Give us a big thumbs up too for Marty's garden here. It's been unreal. You guys have been such a good support. But before we go, I just want to go around to the cost of living victory garden. We'll have a quick chat about that, and then we will head off, guys, and I'll see you at the next video. But let's head to the victory garden and have a chat, because for those who want to save money and really get ahead, this is one way you can do it. Honestly, why start a victory garden? Well, it's your chance to beat inflation. Money is food. It costs you money every time you go shopping. Now, it only takes your time. That's it. I know your time's valuable, but think about it. So is your health. Your health is your perfect wealth. And taking control of your life is also highly beneficial. And getting outside more in the garden, you just can't beat that. Oh, let's not forget the freshness of it all. There are so many benefits. I could just roll on and on and on and on. Now, I've started this victory garden here, and if you're only just getting started as well, I highly recommend you get in the containers, get going, get started. Cherry tomatoes, chives, basil, parsley, chili if you like them, some eggplants, some different things. Go and find what is in season at a local nursery. Get some seed up, grab a couple of cheap seedlings if you can. Don't worry too much about going for the really expensive ones. Just look for a good healthy seedling and start them in a cheap mix, and start adding seaweed and liquid fertilizer. So a fish emulsion and a seaweed, and just water it right down and give it to it more often. Especially if they're seedlings, you can water it down to 1/4 of what they're saying on the bottle. And you'll be on your way to starting a victory garden. And we've got a series, right? So I've got a series, and I'm going to leave a link in there down below, somewhere in the comments box, or also in the description, in the cards around here, working on that playlist to get that series going. We're going to be talking about everything here in the garden, in my space, and also this victory garden here. So remember, if you're going to get started, get yourself some cheap potting mix, some cheap compost, get yourself some cheap cow manure, mix it all together, 3 to 1 with the cow manure, get yourself your herbs and things like that. Go and get some recycled pots, some foam boxes, all that stuff, and get started, because we're cranking it here and we are ready to go and rock and roll. Now, I'm still a little bit sick today, getting better, but I'm staying with it to help you guys stay on top of it. Cost of living Victory Garden, V for victory. V for victory, gotta love that, right? There's so much history around Victory Gardens, it's just crazy. All right, I'll see you at the next video real soon. Here comes a flexi hand. Sorry, I'm not all super excited and jumping around, but we're getting there. And I'll see you at the next video real soon. Love you all, bye for now.